Good afternoon, Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com here with your Hurricane and Hurricane HD video blog for August 21st, 2012. The tropics, as you're well aware, getting to be very busy now. Tropical Depression 9 out here, 96L sitting off to its south and east, and that could be a player down the road as well. If we look at a visible satellite picture of a good deal of the Atlantic Basin, you see the large circulation envelope associated with TD9. This is well on its way to becoming Tropical Storm Isaac. I think it's just a matter of time. Then you see another large tropical wave out here. This is 96L. It too, high potential of becoming a tropical cyclone over the next couple of days. Now notice with this system here, TD9, you do have a very vigorous low-level circulation, but a lot of the deep convection pushed off by stronger winds that are coming in this way faster than the system is moving, so it's tilted just a little bit with height. It's not able to align vertically just yet, and that's good news because that'll keep it from intensifying rapidly. Looking at the forecast track, now this is Gordon, still on our map, disregard that. You do have the tropical depression reaching storm strength and then eventually a hurricane, as the National Hurricane Center has it passing just over the southwest part of Haiti and then over southeastern Cuba over the next 4 to 5 days. Now, where it actually ends up in the track is going to be really important, and we'll take a look at that closer in just a moment. A little bit of a closer satellite shot shows, yes, very well-defined center of circulation, still lacking in the deep convection. A lot of dry air still persists out here, but the farther west this gets, the stronger it should become as it enters a more and more favorable environment, mainly the moisture content of the atmosphere. And let's not ignore 96L sitting here, it too trying to ramp up as it heads west under fairly strong high pressure sitting over the northern Atlantic, pushing these tropical systems to the west now, not allowing them to recurve into the open ocean. One thing you're going to hear a lot about, ocean heat content. We know that the water has to be about 80 degrees Fahrenheit or higher on the surface to get tropical storms and hurricanes to form and to thrive. Now on that 80-degree line, or even higher, 82, 83 degrees, extends down into the ocean 100, 200, 300 feet or more, then we're talking high values of ocean heat content, because if a hurricane comes along and stirs up the water, churns it up with that wind action and all the waves and everything, and you just have the water warm at the surface, it's easy to mix that out, and you start losing that heat content real fast. That's what these lower heat content regions show, these blues here, where the water is not very warm under the surface. In the areas where you have the coloration, the oranges especially, and the reds, and then these whites, literally meaning white hot in this situation, ocean heat content wise, at the top of the scale, you're talking about water temperatures that are warm, but they're also very deep into the ocean. And that's going to be important as the system moves through the Caribbean here and maybe ends up over the Greater Antilles. Obviously, land interaction could play a big role in the future of this system, but the ocean heat content increasing along its path here, and if it were to somehow avoid the islands and get over to the northwest Caribbean, that's where the heat content values are at their highest, and we could be looking at a powerful hurricane in that region. Speaking of that region, I wanted to take a look at two of the best global models that most people regard as the best in the meteorological community, the ECMWF, also known as the Euro, and the GFS, the United States Global Forecast System. Now here's the 5-day position from the Euro. Kind of hard to see on this scale, but it's pretty close to where the Hurricane Center has it. It's just offshore on the southeast part of Cuba. At day 6 of the Euro, it stays between Jamaica and Cuba, and then day 7, it's sitting over that high heat content area that I was showing you, north of the Cayman Islands, near the Isle of Youth, south of Cuba, not going over land. So the Euro brings it across, missing land for the most part on the southern end of the Greater Antilles, the islands of Hispaniola and Cuba. The GFS, on the other hand, at day 5, real close to where the Hurricane Center has its day 5 position, over eastern Cuba, and obviously any land interaction through here will disrupt the circulation, and that's going to have its own problems with rainfall being a big issue for these islands down here that have mountains that go 8,000 to 10,000 feet. So that's a concern. Certainly the wind is a big headline, but the rainfall, the tropical rainfall, a big hazard, and that's going to be an issue for these islands. So at day 6, the GFS puts it in the Florida Straits here, tries to intensify it pretty quickly. You can tell just by the look of the model here, and then at day 7, it has a landfall over the peninsula of Florida, and pretty strong looking system. You can't really judge intensity exactly by looking at the global models, but they can give you an idea of organization and what the environment is like to give the forecasters an opportunity to make an intensity forecast. So the GFS has it over southwest Florida, whereas the Euro has it near the Isle of Youth down here near Cuba. That's a pretty good spread. If you were to split the difference, it could be sitting on the northwest coast of Cuba, not far from Key West, or anywhere within 300 miles of this, I guess, if you want to really boil it down, that a 7-day forecast by these models could be off easily by 300 miles. But the bottom line, both of these models are showing a threat to the southeast Gulf of Mexico here and potentially the Florida Peninsula if you go by the GFS. It's just going to have to be one of those wait-and-see situations. We have the land masses to deal with. If it crosses over this and stays tangled up, it could be quite weak and not have much time to strengthen before it would impact Florida. There's also the chance that enough of a weakness in the ridge up here would allow it to come up on the east side of Florida, maybe threatening the Carolinas. It's just too soon to say. We know the 5-day forecast error from the National Hurricane Center is a couple hundred miles at least, and we're talking 7 days here in the global models that I'm showing you. Those forecast errors can be certainly 300 or 400 miles, if not more. And so the bottom line, I think this has a lot of people's attention, and that's good. Keep an eye on it. Nothing to worry about just yet, but just be thinking about your hurricane plans, what you might do. It's been 7 years since a hurricane hit Florida, and a lot of people have moved into the state that have zero hurricane experience, and you never know. This could be the one that finally impacts the Sunshine State. It's just too soon to say. That's what we're here for, though, to keep you informed on a daily basis. And, of course, you have the wonderful tools inside your app to track and keep up with the very latest, sometimes minute by minute and hour by hour, from the National Hurricane Center. So there you go. That's a look at the tropics for today, getting busy and only going to get busier from here. Again, I'm Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com, my website. Thank you very much for watching. I'll have another video blog for you tomorrow.